I'm here with Ericson Caldwell, Garret Goodwin, Tyler Ward, all three A&M Consolidated wrestlers who qualified for state recently at the regionals down in San Antonio. Ericson qualified at 215, Garret at 152, and Tyler at 135. Just any one of you guys talk a little bit about the meet itself, in that it's a 2-day tournament, the grind, and just kind of like the mental pressure, knowing that other tournaments you lose, you're still wrestling the next week type thing. Can you talk about it, how much more difficult regionals were because of that? Or were they more difficult because of that?
I felt it was stressful because next year, there is no next year. This is it for us. So it's stressful knowing that it all matters that right then.
Yeah. I think that's part of the reason I lost my first match. I was freaking out, and then I came back and won the rest of them. So
You just kind of felt the pressure,
yeah,
a little bit more, and didn't adjust to it right away. Is that what you think?
Pretty much gotta go all or nothing.
When because you guys are seniors, when that last match was over, not like when you go up into the crowd or whatever, just like literally when that match is over, what were your feelings when you knew, hey, I've done enough to go to state, whether whatever place you were at, you just knew there was another week or two of practicing and going to state?
triumphant.
The happiest moment of my life.
I felt like I had accomplished something, accomplished my goals for the season.
Did you look at anybody, think about anything, or think of all the years or anything that how long you've been wrestling and stuff?
I felt like I made my parents proud, and that I know they wanted me to do my best this season, and I felt like I did it for them.
Tyler, what about yourself? I know your parents are really involved in everything with that.
I did it mainly for myself, but yeah, you have your parents to thank for it, for helping you out through the summer.
Do you guys remember now that you're seniors and it's almost over, do you remember your first match at all and feelings of that?
I do.
I remember.
Can you each start with Ericson? Go ahead. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it was a JV match 4 years ago, my freshman year. I remember I won it. I remember the guy was a Mexican, and he was a whole lot bigger than me. And
Because you were wrestling at what weight?
215.
Okay.
But I was weighing in at like 205, and he weighed in at like 214. So he was about 10 pounds heavier than me. He was a whole lot bigger and stronger than me. But it was a JV match, and he wasn't that great. So.
What about you, Garret? Was this as a freshman, by the way, Ericson?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was 135, and I had about maybe a day of practice because I joined in about like halfway through the season, and I didn't even know how to score points or line up or anything, and the match went into overtime, and then the kid beat me, but I didn't even know how to score.
Was it varsity or JV?
It was JV. I remember my first varsity match too, but that was different.
Why was that different? Was it any different?
The level of competition was higher, and I was still a freshman then too. It was quite
So it wasn't
exciting.
much longer after you'd wrestled. Did you know how to score by that time? That always helps, huh? What about you, Tyler?
I remember my first match. It was a JV match because Coach wouldn't let us wrestle varsity yet, and I got destroyed. I can't remember what tournament it was, but I went out there all excited, but nervous, and I just got destroyed. Like, it was terrible.
Did you get discouraged at all, or did it just make you mad and want to do?
No, it made me really mad. I wanted to win, so a couple more matches later, and then when I got on varsity, I finally won my first match.
For Tyler, I like his agility and how quick he is. I like watching. I love watching Tyler wrestle because he's so fast. And then Ericson, I love watching him when he's on top, just pounding the crap out of everybody he's wrestling. So I enjoy watching them too, for sure.
Ericson in a match, he'll try something, you're like, no, and then he'll finish it, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, how did that happen?
Meaning that you think he's in trouble and then he's won?
Sometimes, and then he finishes it, and you're like, I shouldn't have even doubted him.
I guess what I admire most about them is their speed. I win most of my matches by being faster than the other guys. Even though 215, you'd think it's mostly about strength. I win it by being faster, but I'm nowhere near as fast as these guys. And these guys, they take me down in practice. So.
Isn't that kind of embarrassing when someone 50 pounds less than you takes you down?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. But I always end up beating them.
I noticed at regional, a lot of guys almost seems like they figure a way to try and psych themselves up with their hair and stuff like that. You see a guy like that with the leopard hair or the dyed hair and stuff like that. What's your first thoughts? And you kind of hope you're wrestling that guy?
Yeah. I'm wrestling them so I can.
First of all, they're either really good or they suck really bad. It's one of the two. They're never in between. So normally you just want to beat the crap out of them even more. If they got bad hair, you just want to go out there and
My goal is if I'm getting beat, at least hurt the person beating me.
So you think about that, hurting the other guy?
Yeah, you got to be aggressive.
Mm-hmm. When you go out there and you have a frame of mind, are you mad already? Does something have to happen that in the match that makes you mad? And are there things like, I noticed like your first opponent, Garret, that guy just all he wanted to do was stick his palm in your forehead. And I mean, can you talk about some, little things like that make you mad, that kind of like pump you up a little bit more as far as when it comes to wrestling your opponent?
Nothing makes me madder when somebody's just slapping me in the face for, like, some people touch the face for a setup, but people just slap in my face, that makes me mad. It just makes me want to beat them up. Definitely.
Contrary to a lot of people, I think I actually do better when I'm mad. Some people, they get like careless and they just like rush in and like tackle people when they're mad. I think I actually do better when I'm mad, because I don't know, I don't like lose my temper, but I think I just wrestle more like technical, or I have more motivation to win.
Because you're mad all the time, so it's wrestling like normal.
So you're mad all the time at, let's say, your scale of 8. So you get up past 10 when you're wrestling on that scale?
Probably.
I tried making myself mad freshman and sophomore year, and it never really worked for me. So I like to wrestle calm. If I start to get pissed in a match, I don't do very well. So I try to keep a calm head, cool head.
What's your favorite move? I know we saw, for Ericson, we saw your little leg. I don't know technically what it was called, but you essentially pinned him with your legs. Is that your?
That's my favorite move.
And what do you have? Is it got a name or and how did you come about discovering that move? And do you remember the first time you put it on somebody and go, wow, this works? I can. Yeah.
It was last year. I pinned 23 guys with it last year.
You pinned 23 guys with one move?
Out of 28 matches. So, yeah. 28
matches or 28 wins?
Oh, well, 28 wins. I guess I had 5 losses last year or something like that. Anyway, Dylan Bartek was a senior when I was a sophomore.
Yeah.
Sophomore. And he kind of showed me that move. He showed me how to get into it, and ever since then, I've been pinning people with that same move. Actually, it's easier to be a lighter guy and do that move. So part of my strategy is not to be stronger than the rest of the people, it's to be faster and more agile and more flexible, and that's part of it, being flexible. So I get the big buff guys who have never seen that move before because they keep wrestling other big buff guys, and that's part of the reason I win.
But you, Garret, got a favorite move or?
Not really on the ground, but when we're standing up, I like to shoot the outside single. That's really my favorite. I feel like I'm in control when I stand up with my leg. So I like that.
Tyler?
I agree. I really like the outside single, but I like any leg takedowns really. And then when I'm on the ground, I like to grab wrists mostly. But then again, you can't to me, I don't know about other people, but me, even if I have a favorite move, I don't only use that move. I try to use all kinds of things.
I mean, my dad took wrestling as a PE credit class in A&M, so he's always wanted me and my brother to be wrestlers. So we always went and wrestled in the living room, and that's kind of how I came into it.
For me, it's just my mom thought I'd be good at it, so she told me I should try it, so I tried it, and it worked out. So hopefully I can teach my little brother some things so he can get where I'm at right now, his junior year or sophomore year. That'd be great.
Tyler, I know you got 2. You have to handle 2 at one time, right?
No, I got 3.
3? Oh, okay.
Yeah, my older brother's 3 years older, and then my younger brothers are twins. So I just grew up always fighting my brothers, and then, I don't know, I guess I was just used to physical contact, And then my dad first told me about the wrestling team. I was scared to death. Freshman year, I was like, I don't know, they look pretty tough. But then eventually I got over it and joined and fell in love.
Do you get nervous before a match still?
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
every time.
If I don't feel like I can throw up before a match, I won't normally want to do well.
Yeah.
I feel nervous, but at the same time, I feel confident because I feel like I've done the work and put everything in that I should be able to come out on top the majority of my matches.
Exactly.
I feel like you gotta be confident in yourself as well.
What's the goal at state? I mean,
Place.
I feel like we can all place.